Welcome to Bowl Fans International. Once again, we got an international crossover, Australia and London. Gentlemen, Arxonta, Panathafan Nick, welcome. How are you all feeling?
Good,
Good,
very
good.
good. Definitely better.
Creed is green.
Our,
Again,
our grins are green as well. We've gone week to week where one week it's disappointment, bitterness, and now we're able to smile a bit.
but this has to be the first time all season the BC and the FC have won at the same time. Has to be.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Let's straight away kick into it. The first match review was Panathinaikos Pleasant at home in the Europa. That was a 2-all draw. Um, the first goal came from Pleasant, and I'll get the names up because the goal came pretty early for Pleasant, where sorry, just getting it up now. So it was Visinski in the 11th minute where they had an attack where they shot from I think inside the box. Lafont did a good save. They had a rebound or something. The guy outside the box shot and Lafont I don't know. He got a hand to it and palmed it in. So we will talk about the goals and the match soon. Then in the 31st minute, Tete scored courtesy of a header. So Kyriakopoulos and Baka played a 1-2. Kyriakopoulos broke down the line, cross to Tete. Good placing header to equalise. Then in the 61st minute, brilliant individual play from Tete. He received the ball around the halfway line, turned and absolutely skinned his defender, took the ball to the edge of the box and buried it far post. And 80th minute, Plazen got an unfortunate equaliser. Um, they broke on a counter attack, I believe, from a corner, our own corner. They took the ball to the other end. Jurisic kind of loose marked, allowed Ladra for them to put a shot. And once again, Lafont didn't get a strong hand to it and it went in. Let's talk about the game, fellas, and how we saw it. Whoever wants to kick it off.
Nick, you can fire
Arxonta.
off.
I'll go. All right. Sluggish start, perhaps. Lafont called into action early doors even before their goal. Then they scored. Then he could have done better on both goals. Even the first one, not so much the second shot that was the actual goal. I think where you can criticize Lafont for their first goal was the initial shot. He parried it. He didn't parry it away from goal, away from danger. It was back in the line of their player. And the second one, yeah, he was always going to be up against it. He got a hand on it, but it was a powerful shot and it was disappointing. I thought I was expecting this to be really dull, low scoring across two legs, and I thought, oh, this is going to follow a real similar pattern to when we played them a few weeks back, and we're going to struggle to break them down. But the day scored at the right time. It sort of came out of nowhere, that goal, and it woke us up. Really not a lovely build-up play. We moved the ball forward and pinpoint cross, absolutely sensational cross, Kyriakopoulos, and the header was even better from Tete. And I think we're gonna be waxing lyrical in this episode about Tete, but he's scoring a variety of different goals now. He's good in the air. He can play back to goal and bring others into play. He stole the show this whole weekend, the midweek weekend, but belongs to him on the PAO FC front. Scoring different goals, whether he can play Xilor, bring others, occupy their centre halves. The individual brilliance for the second goal as well, and the shot, like the joys, of having a striker that knows how to finish, a striker finally that knows where the back of the net is, and he's our replacement. We finally got our man to replace Forty. We thought it was Dessers 6 months ago. It's today, and hopefully he's our next Bergen Cisse. Honestly, hopefully he just puts his head down and keeps working and keeps going because I think the sky's the limit for the kid. And second half, especially the first 20, 30 odd minutes, probably the best Bala we've played in the last 3 years. And real frustrating, we didn't put the foot on the throat where we had him on the ropes not to make it 3-1. Rafa's subs definitely need to be questioned. I thought when I saw Zvidevsky about to come on, it was going to be Zvidevsky and Tete up front together where we go all out in the hunt for that third goal. That would have, I think, gone a long way to getting us through to the last 16. If we're going to focus solely first on the second Tete goal, like, it was so good. It was perfect. That's his strength. Winning the ball, getting it, and just a bit of skill to beat his man, brute strength, and the finish was absolute precision. That goes 1 meter either side, it's not a goal. Instead, it hits the upright and goes in, and we're laughing. We turn the game around, and we should have. As I said, Rafa has to look at himself there and question why he didn't go all out for the third goal where we had him on the ropes, and their equaliser came out of nowhere. That was an even bigger blunder from Lafon. And all right, Lafon, you can criticise him for that one game, but we'll speak about the Offie game as well. Like, if the price is right, I'd still be buying Lafon. If it's that region of 5 or so million euro, I'd be making it permanent. But nonetheless, a disappointing evening for Lafont and Rafa. That were the two causes of us dropping the points, and bittersweet in the end. Not many players, especially outfield players, not many had a bad game. I think the midfield, for the most part, worked well. But apart from the ending, it was crying out. There's no Konduris in the squad for Europe. Konduris would have made a difference. If Konduris he's not in the squad, put Siopis on. Siopis would have made a difference there the last 10, 20, 15, 20 minutes. Bandovic was the one that had a poor game in terms of the outfield players, though. Especially in that first half, it was like a headless chook. He was lost out there. The rest of them were quite good. Bakasetas, Renato Sanchez, quite good. Kyriakopoulos, nice assist. Centre backs quite good as well. Tete stole the show. Not only man of the match in this game, man of the match across the remaining games in the Europa League, the whole round, the whole match day. And that says it all. What a European debut for the kid. Then a bit of controversy where Dubar started and then came off, but Zaruri was left on the bench with Ramadan, and Rafa spoke about that as well post-game. But all in all, bittersweet, and we're a chance. We are a chance. Look, for me at least, we've played them twice. There's no doubt in my mind we're a better side than them. But my worry is the better sides don't always progress. So hopefully we keep it together. No Malakias, no lapses in concentration, and we might just get the job done.
That's also kind of what I wanted to add, though, about what you said about how 2 games in, we have shown we're the better side. Fine. Yeah. But one thing I wanted to add is, and we saw this against Ferencvaros, and I mentioned this as well. Yes, we've been in Europe for the last couple of years, okay, but that's been, we were out of it for a while, right? We've come back in. I think in these kind of ties, when we play with Plizen, that the quality of players isn't a big difference, right? It's all kind of relative. I agree we have slightly better quality players, but I always say the team that will go through will be the team that is more organized and well drilled, and that's the thing that scares me. We saw that game where it finished 2-2. We really should have won about 4-1, if we're being honest. We battered them, okay? Apart from the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we battered them. And where I am a bit of a different opinion is with the sub. I do think Rafa Benitez bringing off Tete, now that I look back on it, I didn't mind it initially. I think I just would have left. I would have left Swiderski out, full stop. Personally,
he was exhausted though. I saw the logic after.
He was perhaps, but
he didn't play the previous game. How could he be exhausted? He had the weekend off.
European games, they're more intense. It was his first one as well. We have to think about that. But the thing for me is I know a lot of you are saying go for the kill at 2-1. I would have sat back and just taken the win. For me, 2-1, I would say we have 1 foot in the next round, and I'm 80% sure we get there. Instead, what do? We go charging up the field. We have a lot of people forward. Jurisic does a stupid touch, and we eat one on the counter attack.
He shouldn't
Then
have
there was
come on.
so much. We left so much space in the middle a lot of that game. It was so easy for him to cut inside. If you're playing against Panathafan, okay, let him have that shot. That's never going in. I'm completely fine for that. But you know, would you let him have that shot if you were playing PAOK? I don't know. We let him have that shot. Look, we let Lafont be tested, who was dodgy all game. And listen, I hate scrutinizing goalkeepers so much because everyone sees their mistakes. Should have saved it. But for me, I'm also blaming whoever it was who didn't close the guy down. For me,
Jurisic.
Jurisic. Okay, Jurisic. I'm a big fan of his, right? He's been fighting for the badge for ages now. He loses the ball doing a stupid skill. Come close your man down. Please, just please make that extra run. We go in 2-1. I'd say sit back. I don't see them breaking us down, if I'm being honest, if we step back. Go in 2-1. I think there is a 95% chance you take that game to at least extra time. And we have been very good on penalty shootouts as well. Can I add that? We've been very good on penalty shootouts in general. So, you know what I mean? But in terms of the game, Nico, you pretty much said everything I was going to say. I think the second half, the first 25 minutes, was the best football we've played in a very long time. We controlled the game. I think the second goal was really coming. The only chance I'll talk about is after 2-2 at the end. I don't want to get onto them too much because I think a lot of PAO fans are being completely unreasonable,
Yeah.
but obviously the back said this one.
Should have been
If
on
it's on his
target.
left foot, it's on target, if we're being honest. I'm not going to get onto him too much for it. I do think the pass from Swiderski was poor for me. I think you've got to play it a little bit more to the left. You played him too out wide. It was a very simple pass. Play it on more inside, so it's on his left foot. Is all I'll say in that moment. But other than that, bittersweet as you said. Performance was good. Definitely worthy enough of a victory, but we are going in 2-2. For me, it's 50-50 in the second leg, if I'm being honest, because I think we are the better team. But maybe give them the slight edge because they are home, obviously, and we have got the Spanish waiter as our manager. So, yeah, anyway.
Didn't we have a opportunity to win the game in the last minutes?
Bakasetas. The one Arxonta was playing.
Yeah, on his right foot.
Now, I'm not going to say anything further because, like I said, it's heard it from our fans unfairly in most parts. So there's just they're the sort of opportunities that really can make a bit of difference in a win or lose. But the masterclass from today is definitely a call out. The only thing I'll add to that, and Nick, I think you summarised the player reviews well, and I think Lafont, I agree with you. If the price is right, we definitely buy him, notwithstanding the errors made in this game. So it's one game. Everyone makes errors. No one's perfect throughout their career.
He redeemed himself already. Off you.
Yeah, exactly right. No, look, it just happens.
Don't you think 5-6 million is quite a lot? Like, that's kind of more than I'd want to pay.
We've spent that a lot though on others.
Yeah, but he's a goalkeeper.
An important position.
He's a goalkeeper who's yet to let's see. Look, maybe we go to penalties and he saves 3 penalties, and I'll say buy him for 30 million. Who knows?
But I think the point you made about the game, sit back and control the game was, I think, spot on. As far as I think the subs were the right subs. Yes, I agree with if the benefit of hindsight, Bilbao or that they're coming off because they're either injured or just absolutely knackered. But I would have brought Siopi on and tried to shut the game down.
Since, let me just really quickly add something. Sorry, Sturge. Ever since that game against Go Ahead Eagles as well in Europe, I've been of the opinion you go 1-up and it's like minute 70, 75. You just sit back because that's when we were playing Sturmgras. I remember people in chat after Calabria's goal, go for a third. And I was like, please just sit back. Because against Go Ahead Eagles, they scored 2 goals on the counter attack. You should not be getting countered like that 1-0 up. And that's what happened 2-1 up against Pleasant. That shouldn't be happening. Anyway.
Yeah, I want to make a few points. Now, we were very sloppy the first 20 minutes. That was very bad. It was when you we got the equalizer, you see Ingerson having a I don't know, it kind of looked like a bit of a spat or kind of like a dispute with Rafa as soon as we scored. So you see them go to the bench, and that was the first thing I noticed. After that, I just saw the team free play, and it was really, really good. We were playing some of our best football, and it looks like we're just free playing. The first lot of subs I agree with. So Pantovic and Taborda coming off. I think they had given whatever they could. They weren't being as effective second half. And Andino and well, I was surprised Jurisic came on. That was for me the big surprise. I was expecting Zaroury. Zaroury was getting the big previews in the UEFA site, etc., as one of the players to look to watch because of his performances, and we didn't see him at all. I'll come to that point at the end. The Tete sub came. And then in hindsight, he was tired. But that required, at that point of the game, to be a double sub or potentially a triple sub. I would have taken off Duba because in that counter attack, Duba was struggling. He couldn't run that much and he came off shortly after. He was knackered, but I would have taken off um, Sanchez or Bakasetas to lock down that midfield, just get Siopis in there to just shut down that game straight away. And that's what happened on the counter-attack was usually Siopis in any corner situation. I think he's not the tallest player. He's the size of a fire hydrant, and he's the one that's sitting deep, just disrupting any attack, slowing down the game. And that's where we absolutely copped it because we didn't really have that player. Duba was struggling to run back because he's injured, that caused a little bit of space and gap for the Pleasant players to really counter-attack. Um, and I honestly thought Lafont should have been subbed. He went down twice and he looked hurt. And I'm looking when I've seen the replay of that second goal, I don't think his jump was good enough to get the punch off or make a proper save at that ball. I thought he should have come off um, after that second injury because when I look at that second goal we concede, he softly gets a hand to it. I don't think he could get a good enough jump at it to put the stop there. So that's where my gripe is with that. So I would have, yeah, like I said, preferred to have seen Siopis on because the subs, or especially the Tete Swideski swap, and we only made four subs out of five, but that one just bringing in Swideski, who had minimal impact, just really killed us. That's when we lost our feet and we lost our way at that point. So um, I wasn't too happy. And once again, what has frustrated me with Rafa was his press conference saying the reason why he didn't play Zaruri was because of Ramadan. But you had Dubai in there, who's a practicing Muslim as well, and returning from what's it called
AFCON.
from illness, yeah, from things. So
And then he was ill. What do you have, pneumonia or something?
pneumonia, yeah. So and he just kind of looked, yeah. So Ramadan just coming back from pneumonia, and he looked, especially in that second half, off the pace, and there we go. So I really think it's a winnable game, and we'll talk about the return leg as well, but I really think we can beat them, and there's a glaring strength for them and a glaring weakness.
Mm.
Their strengths are their left, right back, and that midfield. That's where they do most of their damage and most of their good work. I saw that their defense, even though they're undefeated, their defense, they were exposed. Um, the two big situations I see was obviously our goals where they gave Tete a breather on his second goal. He was able to turn and absolutely skin his defender. I don't think their defenders are that great. If we can isolate Tete a little bit more moving forward, I think that's where the goal's going to come. Even the first goal, if you look where we had Kyriakopoulos given space, where were they on Tete? Tete was able to get a nice clean header on that and direct it goalwards. I really think their defense, that centre back pairing that they have, or the 2-3 defenders that they have, is fairly weak. I don't think they're as good as what we're thinking. I think there's opportunities there that we can expose through there. And obviously, we're playing them away, so it's going to be probably hostile. I'm unfamiliar with their stadium. I think it's a pretty small stadium.
11,000.
Yeah, I recall that they had a smaller stadium. So I think we just got to be cautious. We're not down in this tie. It is practically nil all. 2-2, there's no away goal anymore. So I think we've got to be a little bit more cautious coming to the game. I expect a similar lineup to what we did in the first leg. In that 3-4-3. I don't know if there's any suspensions or anything like that. I'm unaware of anything, but I'd probably keep it very, very similar. The only realistically, I'd probably go instead of Pantovic, you'd have to play Taborda up there, but you'd probably look at Zaruri. That's who my preference is, even though I've been a bit on his case. You just got to go just for his threat. He can hold the ball up well. He can take a long range shot. Whether it's on target or not is a different story. As opposed to Jurisic, who saw 10 minutes, he gave a silly thing, allowed, like, we didn't see him against Orphy, so maybe he's keeping it for that, but I'd probably prefer to start Zaruri, and then you later on you bring on you bring Jurisic for his experience and being able to hold up the ball well. So I really think there's opportunity there in that second leg that we can win there. And our record shows in Europa this season we've actually won more away games than games at home.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about the return leg?
It's what I said before. It's the better teams. I think they've got the slight edge. For me, they're slight favourites. We are a better team. The better teams don't always win. If we can, just, no malakias, no lapses. If there's no lapses, we're giving ourselves every chance. We'll carry our threat. It's going to be on us if we can keep the back door shut. That's my worry in this game. You made some good points, Sterg, with potential lineup. I think you're right. He's going to keep it pretty much as close as possible. Andino's in the squad. He would start on that left side. Would he not?
Not for me. I wanted to say actually about him. I reckon we've rushed him. You know that
I'm just looking at the odds now. Pleasant is.
That's literally what I was doing.
Pleasant is favourite, but we're not big outsiders.
Let's do the same.
What are the odds at the moment? Say
Victoria's at $2. We're $3.90.
That sounds about right.
That's not really. Yeah, I don't think we're huge outsiders.
Yeah.
No, that's accurate.
I'll say 2 words: Shakhtar Donetsk.
Yes, I was thinking that.
And
they were a more dangerous team, and yet we got the draw and qualified on penalties. So
and don't forget, Pleasant only scored from 2 range goals.
Yeah.
They didn't really create as much inside the box. They didn't really create a whole lot of chances. We didn't give them any opportunity to create chances especially in the box. They scored 2 long range ones, and I felt a bit of soft keeping, to be honest. So that's something to be mindful. While we scored within the box on a break, on a count, so I think we should probably be a little bit more confident in this one.
I can't handle penalties. I don't want penalties in this one.
But but let me ask. I like to ask these type of questions. If someone offered you penalties right now, are you saying yes or no?
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Nico?
I want the job done before penalties.
Yeah, but we're doing not bad apart from Ajax. penalties have been kind, and Lafont has been pretty good at
He's
penalties. I
been
think
saving them.
he's saved 2, 3 this season from what I've seen.
He saved one against oh
It
gosh,
was
I
at
can't remember.
Tromitos,
Yeah, but he
and I
saved
think he
one in
saved one in
Europe.
Europe, I think, as well.
Which game was it?
I can't remember if he saved one in Europe. I know he saved one against Atromitos.
Fuck me now.
No. So
But we are good in especially away from we've every penalty shootout we've had. I'm pretty sure is away from home.
there are opportunities now.
Trying to think, penalties. Have we lost in penalties recently? We have somewhere.
Ajax,
Yeah,
Ajax,
Ajax.
that's it. Ajax.
that
Then
was
it
the
was
record penalty. Yeah,
Yeah.
It
Mladenovic
was
missed
Yeah.
one.
Marseille and Shakhtar Donetsk were a positive.
And Olympiacos
Olympiacos,
and
yeah,
PAO.
Bulk. Yeah. So we've had a lot of success. All right, next game. This morning, Panathinaikos played Orfi away. We did win 2-0, courtesy of a Tete 6th-minute goal. It looked like I don't want to say a long ball because it kind of looked like one of those clearance hopefuls for a long ball, which then Tete latched from Calabria, which Tete latched onto. Um, the former Panathinaikos keeper that plays at Orfi, Yorgos, was off his line. Tete cleverly lobbed it over him. And in the 98th minute, Calabria, via the penalty spot, coolly stepped up. Nice slow walk, just placed it like amazingly. No keepers getting that to ice the game, essentially. So let's talk about that. Was that game also has a lot of talking points and very important ramifications to the chase for fourth. So who wants to start on this one?
I'll start for this one. My main takeaway was like, apart from that chance with a noose in the first half as like a 1-on-1, it was routine. You know, we scored early, which obviously helps ice the nerves and stuff a bit. They didn't really do too much apart from that. You know, it felt kind of comfortable. We missed a decent chance in the first half. Was it Padelidis? I think, yeah, he had a decent chance and stuff, but nothing too major happened from what I remember in the first half. Um, and then in the second half, it started to become a bit more like about getting stuck in. But a lot of it, I felt like, was played in the middle of the park kind of thing. This game, they had another small chance in the second half. I think later on again it was Noose, but it was from a tight angle. Lafont just kind of parried it away. Um, but apart from that, you know, I think we controlled the game relatively well. Offrey didn't threaten us too much. We were quite compact, which I thought was definitely good. A player that I did want to mention who just is struggling for me is Andino. Um, for me, when he came in, he looked quite solid first couple games. But there was this one moment in that game where he had a shot which he just hit over the bar, and I'm thinking, just bury it. You know what I mean? Just bury it into the bottom corner. For me, he almost looks like we've completely rushed him in. He suddenly started a game, and then he's been playing a lot of 90-minute games, and something's not working for me. He doesn't look fully fit. Maybe he doesn't look fully ready.
Yeah, I'll step in there. He's come from an off season in
Yeah,
Argentina,
yeah, no,
and
no, of
he's
course, yeah.
18, 19 years old, and he's started like 4 or 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row. So
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. That's what I'm saying.
he's
It's
been
generally
thrown
not his
in,
fault.
yeah, he's been thrown into
He,
a tough situation,
yeah.
and that's there's other players that we've got on the bench that
Mm,
Rafa could play. So I've got to defend him in that sort of sense.
mm,
Yeah, he's probably not lighting the world on fire, but that's expected. He's 18, 19,
yeah.
playing straight away 90 minutes, whatever. So
No, yeah. And that's no, that's completely fair. And kind of more to my point is actually about the fact how we've dealt with him. We've rushed him in. For me, as you said, Argentinian seasons they work different, and he's sort of come in. He's playing a lot of football. Didn't really give him a chance as like an impact sub or something. For me, I wouldn't start him against Plizen. So yeah, that was one of my takeaways from that game. Another takeaway is again today. I've not spoken about him as much today, but his hold up play is incredible. I mean, he reminds me of Cisse. Don't get me wrong, because he has that same kind of vibe, but he also reminds me of Foti with that hold up play. You can lob the ball in from a goal kick or a long ball. He will get there. He will turn you. He will win a free kick or something. And it was so key against Offie. They couldn't handle it. And by the way, for that first goal, what a finish. I mean, a great ball from Calabria and brilliant finish. You just, that's such a confident finish. Do you know what I mean? And it's brilliant from him. Absolutely brilliant. And I will say Lafont had a good game between the posts. Definitely good to see him bounce back. It's nasty seeing a goalie struggle or making mistakes because everyone sees them. You know what I mean? But he was good. But overall, this is a game where it kind of reminds me a bit more of what we had a couple years ago under Jovanovic, maybe. Just a routine 2-0 away win. We saw that so many times. Scored early, scored at the end. That's really what you want to be seeing. That has to be. There has to be a week in, week out thing. You don't expect to. I've said it before. The Greek league is nothing special, gents. Like the quality is very poor amongst these lower teams. Really, you shouldn't be conceding against them. Really, in the regular season kind of thing, you should not be conceding more than 12 goals. If we're being completely honest, really, you shouldn't be conceding many at all against these teams. So it was good to just see back to basics. We didn't light the world on fire with that performance, but that was simple and easy. And we've not seen that for a long time. And we need to see that more often for me. So those were my main takeaways, to be fair. Definitely reminded me a bit about what was going on a couple of years ago. Just, going to, Olympiacos back then and winning 2-0 easily, things like that. It reminded me of that. So it was good to see that, in my opinion.
All's open.
Huh?
I'll take it, or
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm done.
Panathafan, do you want to go?
Yeah, look, for me, it's a good win. It's a routine win, if I can say that right. And you're talking about penalty shootouts before. I think we know that Calabria has got the ability to step up and take one after that penalty today. So no, I think I can't be too critical. We had some good patches, but not so good patches as well. Overall, though, for me, it's the routine we needed and a very dangerous win. I think we were talking about it before the game about the last three games was 2 wins, 1 draw for us. But before that, we hadn't won for at least 3, 4 games. So it's good to see we came away for winning for what was a very dangerous away game. And Gonti, as coach, who knows us well, I thought that we're expecting a much tougher ride. Just a quick call out though, that refereeing was terrible, absolutely terrible, and doing us no favors whatsoever. So it's interesting that with the penalty kick right at the end, he didn't blow for the penalty; he blew for full time. It was only the bar turned around and said, "Yeah, that's terrible. That's just absolutely terrible."
That's our SLGR for you,
Nick.
Sorry, before we go, Nick, just one thing I will say though, just in terms of the comment Arxonta about not conceding goals against some of the smaller teams, I think it's easier said in theory than in practice. And if I look at the FA Cup as an example, when you got Premier League teams conceding goals against the likes of Mansfield Town and those sort of clubs, you can never rule out one of these smaller clubs pinching a goal here and there. It's always a possibility. We need one weak moment.
I think it was more saying that like a clean sheet should be more of a regular thing against these teams and not a regular thing. We've conceded in how many games has it been? What, 18 or something roughly? And
Yep.
we've conceded in 21 games. We've conceded 22 goals. For me, is too many in the Greek league. If you look at what we need to be, Ajax 13, Olympiacos 10, about 14. We've conceded a few too many. That was more of my point. I'm not trying to throw
that's a fair point.
But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's fair, and you're right with that, Arxonta. But if we're going to look at the goals conceded and goals scored, look at the
we've
goals
not
scored
scored
column.
enough. No,
That's a bigger issue for me.
I mean, this has been an issue for years. Now,
Yeah,
even when we won the league, we weren't scoring enough goals. I mean, realistically, you want to be as close to averaging. How do I say this correct? For a game played, you want to score 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals a game, exactly.
You want to be as close to that as possible. I'm not saying we're always going to be there, but I mean, Olympiacos are above that, right? So I'm definitely not. That's definitely a separate thing. I completely agree on that front. Because in general, goal difference is terrible, and we'll talk about that later. But that could end up being I believe it's head-to-head first. But say we do end up drawing in Livadia, that could actually end up being a factor. So, yeah.
In terms of this game specifically, I mean, you guys have covered already the bulk of the key points I would have mentioned. Lovely finish from Tete. You can really tell he's in form. What a lob, full of confidence. And what about the celebration? I'm so worried. He's got to watch his back. Not so much this offie one, the Pleasant one. He almost got it wrong. You could see him grabbing his back. Oh, far out. Calabria, I thought initially it was just a hoof. The more I see it, it was bit calculated. It was deliberate to get it up to Tete as quick as possible, because I think that was part of the plan in this one, was to play it over off it. That's where we could enjoy success.
There was another player there that tried getting to the ball, and I think it was Kuduris maybe. There was another player there. That's why it looked more like a hoof, so he can quickly get to it.
Yeah. No, I think it was deliberate when you see it back. Other than that, Lafont, really good save in the first half. That one-on-one save was outstanding. If that goes in, we could be talking about a different game. I think that was their biggest chance. Other than that, it was pretty easy going for us at the back. They had a couple of other okay chances, but nothing major. And then the game was, you'd think it's going to peter out to 1-0 win. And with 10 minutes to go, that rain was torrential. If the game started a bit later, we probably would have been looking at a delay of some sort with those conditions. Then right at the end, we get the penalty and Calabria puts it away. And for me, Calabria man of the match. 1 goal, 1 assist, 7 games in the month of February. So he's played Thursday, Sunday frequently, and you could tell he's really now fighting for the Trifili, putting his body on the line for us. He's got those leadership qualities that we addressed when we first signed him that we desperately needed, and they're finally coming to the fore. He's just got to keep going. Midfield was also quite good in this game. Siopis, I thought, worked well with Gondouris. Both of them. We've already waxed lyrical, can't speak highly enough of Tete. Arxonta, you're right. Andino in this one a bit off. Just good to close the gap on Olympiacos. They obviously got pounded 4-0 by Ike, and now the gap is down to 3, and we've got a game in hand. We play Olympiacos soon, and our game in hand against Orfi is also coming up. I think this game, playing behind closed doors, played into our hands as well. Orfi historically hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us over the years. I know it's not at their traditional home ground, but that neutral sort of venue without anyone there helped us, I think. And as critical as Panathafan was, one of you guys said before, that Gondis knows us inside out. So it was good to win this game. Because Orfi themselves are in a decent form coming into it.
Yeah. Look, there was a couple of interesting stats that I saw, that Orfi hadn't lost at home at all this season. That was the first one. And this is Orfi's first loss overall in over a month. So those are some interesting stats that I read. The game, look, I'm going to give credit to Rafa. He got an important 3 points. I've been smashing him a lot lately, and I think I'm justified, but I'm going to give him credit. He went to a difficult place. We're probably lucky it was behind closed doors. But 3 points is 3 points. That's all she wrote. So he does deserve credit. I think we did the job. We helped with the early goal. Last year we played there, another Tete scored in the 3rd minute. So it's a good omen to have a Tete of some sort to score an early goal versus Orphy, in Crete. Um, yeah, I found the game, especially second half, really lackluster, very boring. But we did what we had to do to get the 3 points. But the officiating was absolutely shambles, absolutely shambles. You covered the penalty. You could see, was it Seren gets absolutely whacked by Norse. The referee just blows full time. It's like, up, like VAR called him over to review it and gives a clear penalty and sends off Norse because he was on a yellow. But there was also another bad moment where. Tete and Labropoulos, the Orphy defender,
Mm.
got a little bit tangled up. Labropoulos pushes Tete, and then he gets him behind the leg, like with that was accidental, the studs to the ankle. But Labropoulos stops because Tete had then fallen into the box. Labropoulos stops, tells the referee, "I did it over there." Like he pointed to where the actual foul was. So he's pretty much given himself up that it was a foul. Referee calls players on. The Orphy player himself had given himself up that he fouled Tete, and the referee just plays on. It was just unbelievable. It was just unbelievable. There was a couple of even the linesman didn't even wave his flag or anything. And there was another play where it was like a play that was clearly off by them, and they gave it to them as throwing. So I was just like, it was just shocking. The first half stats on free kicks was about 16-4 in Orphy's favor. So it was just one of those wins that I have to give credit to Rafa. We got the job done in quite shocking decisions, weather and referee wise, but we did it, and that's it. That's 3 points, and we bridged the gap with Olympiacos, who got absolutely hammered 4-0, which makes for an interesting showing because now we have Artis next up at home, who have just lost their manager, Jimenez, who I don't know if he walked or he got sacked, but he is gone. Aris has been very poor in attack. They have the second worst attack in the Greek league, but they do have um, same defense as us in terms of goals conceded, but they have only 19 goals scored. So they've got the second worst um attack, just ahead of Panathafan. Panathafan is on 14 goals. Aris is on 19. So uh, I see this game gonna be tricky. I can see this interim guy coming in, setting up shop. There's no way he's gonna come for a win. They're just gonna hope something falls loose for like Moron, who has not been very good at all this season, or one of their other players, and like hope for like a smash and grab while we're gonna be playing against a low block, and it's not gonna be an easy match for us. Um, how are you guys seeing the upcoming artist game? It is post the Pleasant, and it is in Athens.
For me, it's definitely a danger game. I think Sturge, what you called out is spot on. It's always the new coach that the team is got extra motivation, and we ourselves are a good example of that. Where each time we change a coach, we had a very quick, short honeymoon period, but we did have those initial wins that got us excited about the new coach, and then it just started falling away. But on the flip side of that, their players are out of form. I'll be surprised if they turn around that quick. And truth is, on paper, we are just a better team, full stop. So, as long as we can keep our heads right and focused on what we need to do, and Rafa doesn't experiment too much, then I like to think we come away from a win. And I think that last part is the most critical part, where he actually treats this game seriously, like he has for the last couple of games, and doesn't just keep experimenting with the starting 11. And I did recall somewhere that since he's been in charge, he has not used the same starting 11 twice. So I'd be curious to see if that's true or not.
I'm gonna go a bit rogue here and say it's a hard game to predict, and I'll tell you why. Because for me, this is a very hard game to preview and predict. Because if I'm previewing this with none of these factors I'm about to say, I'd echo everything you guys are saying. But there are two factors for me. First factor is if this goes extra time and penalties against Pleasant, we can expect either a lot of rotation or tired legs is one thing, right? Because if this goes, we play Sunday with Addis. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 days of rest. Okay. If we go to extra time penalties with Pleasant, you can expect a lot of rotation or a lot of tired legs. So that's one thing you have to take into consideration. Second thing we have to take into consideration is if we lose against Pleasant, we may not have Rafa Benitez as our manager for Addis, which is another thing to take into consideration. So in 6 days until Saturday, a lot's up in the air with this Addis game. We could have a lot of rotation because of extra time and penalties. We could have a different manager. So it's a hard game to kind of predict, but I will say this. They're going to have a new manager for this game. You never want to be the team playing against the first game of a new manager. You never want that. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they can strike some belief in. They're definitely going to be going for a smash and grab, as you said, Sturge. I think for me, the longer this game goes on 0-0, the harder it's going to get for me. But it's a hard one to predict because there's a lot of circumstances that we don't know about yet. So
there is some breaking news. Artists have a new coach announced.
They just announced
take charge against us.
Mikhail?
No, Michalis Grigoriou.
That's it. Sorry.
The journeyman veteran coach that's bounced from club to club. No excuses for us in this one. Honestly, I haven't given this game thought. To be honest, I've been thinking it's all about Pleasant, but seriously, we can't be dropping points to him.
Look, I will say that last time we did play Artis at home, we beat them 3-0. So, and we do have pretty solid depth. I think we're lucky, except for the centre backs, because we're playing now the 3-4-3. We're pretty much covered across all the positions across the whole field. And
I think fullbacks question mark.
Well,
Calabria, Kyriakopoulos good, but what's behind them?
We don't know when
Portiras
is
injured,
back. Javi
and the other
Hernandez
bloke's
is
not impressive.
No,
the
he's
Javi guy
average.
is. Do you know what annoyed me about him as well? So on the bench, right? It's just a random clip, but can I just say he's come in? He's been. I didn't expect much from him. But he's not been very impressive, as you said, at all. When Lafont had that slight blunder for the second goal, I see Javi on the bench going like trying to say like how he would do it. And I'm like, brother, A, you're not on the field. B, you're not a keeper. Like, let him do his job, man. What are you trying to do? Like, are you trying to say, oh, you should do this? What do you know? Okay, no, man, honestly. It's just a little thing that
but we do have
Catrice.
We do have Catrice who's been pretty solid.
I'd rather take Catrice.
Yeah,
so,
same.
Look, we do have the personnel, so it's just gonna a lot of it's gonna ride on what happens with Pleasant, how we come out with it, etc., etc. So it's not going to be easy. And I think what's also that you got to keep our eye on at the same time, Olympiacos travels to Kifisia. So, which once again, that's not going to be at all easy for them. I think Kifisia is playing brilliant now. Once again, they're back in form. I think they had a little bit of a blip with the loss of players. that especially in the last window, they're getting good results. They're going to stay up. They drew away against Ardis. They came 2-0 down from Orphy to draw. So they're showing a little bit of fight, and they're going to be hosting Olympiacos at home. So that is going to be a really good match, and it will be at the same time. So yeah, we'll be able to monitor what's happening between both squads there. It'll be interesting to see how Leverkusen approach this game after the hammering that they copped the sake. Now there was some interesting news that has been reported by journalists that they've been more friendly towards Rafa Benitez. Zuanis, who works for Novasport slash Mega, I think, but Novasport, he did come out defending Rafa, etc. But he did talk about that there's works in place for an interim manager. Not too sure what that is going to mean, what it looks like, etc. If it's after the Pleasant game, if we cop a defeat or a heavy defeat, or maybe after Ardis, but there is background work for an interim manager. No solid names yet, like we saw last week in the media. We saw former Liverpool and Panathinaikos player Biscan being named. Vokalos's name will always get thrown around as well, but that's as far as the interim tag, the rumor has come from. So did you boys read much into it? Do you think it's a real thing, or do you think it's just a made up thing? Do you think it's just he's trying to fire up the fan base?
Or all of the above?
God knows.
Look, this has Rafa's been very interesting in terms of the fan base. The fan base I thought was about 80-20 in favor of getting him sacked, but a lot of these polls now, I don't know if they've been hijacked by the teams, etc. It's more closer to 50-50. There is quite a bit of support for Rafa from our fans. So
that's just because of his we've said it before, and like I'm not going to discredit him, but he has won. I think in a lot of fans' back, some delusional fans are thinking, "Oh, he's done it before. We could win the Europa League." I think there are genuinely some fans who want to keep him for that.
That's wishful thinking, but he is currently undefeated in Europe with us at the moment. He hasn't lost with us in Europe yet.
But we could also get knocked out without lose. That would be pretty funny
but it's not shameful to lose against Pleasant, who's a very solid European team. They've been very solid in the last few years.
It's not shameful, but we are clearly the better team after that game, and it's more of the fact of like with how the season's gone in the Greek league. Okay, say we were like second right now, and like a few points off top. Lose to Pleasant, okay, decent team. You kind of say water under the bridge, right? We can forget it. But we've had nothing going for us this season. Obviously, there's going to be outrage if we lose. There just is. It's going to be like dropistas, fanelas. We know what's going to happen. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Even if we could lose to Chelsea right now we could lose to Chelsea on penalties and it would be the same thing. Let's be honest.
Pleasant just had a 0-0 draw at home versus second place.
Of course, 0-0.
Praha. Yeah, of course, 0-0. Not too sure.
Where are they in the league?
They're fourth.
They're fourth, and it looks like that Pleasant missed a penalty as well in that game. I'm just looking through the timeline.
Could bode well for us. I swear, if we go penalties and I see Swiderski take a penalty, oh my gosh. I'm going to throw something on my TV.
Oh, Zaruri. Remember that Zaruri penalty against Shakhtar, Rosette.
But he scored one at least, albeit it was a shaky one. I think it was against Panathinaikos. I just remembered the second penalty save of Lafont was against Volos. we were 2-0 up and they scored to make it 2-1, and they could have made it 2-2 and he saved it.
Yes.
That was the second one. It wasn't Europe. It wasn't Europe, yeah.
Sturge, I'll say that I'm not a fan of Rafa in terms of the way we're playing, and I'm not going to miss him if he goes. But if it's a choice of keep Rafa or Igor Biscan for the balance of the season, I'll stick to Rafa. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I agree.
He was terrible. He was terrible for us as a player, and so far his pedigree as a coach hasn't been that flash either.
I do think though Rafa's days are eventually are numbered. Not if we lose, like Arxonta was saying before, we could have a new coach if we lose to Plizen, maybe, but I doubt it. I think the change, if there's a change, it'll come at season's end.
If we don't make top four, I reckon he'll just get an interim to see it out.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the insights, the stats on this game. Looks like it was a fairly even game across the chances, everything like that. So, um, Pleasant had more shots, but same amount of saves. I think that's what we're going to probably expect as well. If we not sit back, but if we tighten that defense, because I think what Ingerson, EPB, and Dubar up until after that first half were very solid. So if we can keep that same sort of defensive structure, frustrate them, don't give them anything inside the box, that's where we're a chance. But yeah, in terms of back to the conversation, Rafa. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Panathafan. I would keep Rafa over Biscan, but as I said, there's no name. It was just that we're working on a interim, so take that with a grain of salt.
Let me just say as well, I feel like just now thinking about getting to the last 16, if we do get to the last 16, I will say in advance, huge credit, because that is, that's a good achievement, getting to the round of 16 of Europa League. There's something in my mind right now telling me it's too good to be true, though. I would be on cloud nine if we Europe means a lot to me. I don't know why. It's just, seeing Panathinaikos play in Europe, it's Elas Evropi. If we get to the last 16, that's a massive achievement. Obviously, what would come after is a very tough draw, but
Betis, Real Betis, or Midtjylland. One of them.
But both very very tough.
We had Midtjylland in the preseason.
Yeah.
What was the score in that game?
Was it Midtjylland? Yeah,
they
Midtjylland
won.
or Nord?
Oh, that was that Nordjylland, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think it was Midtjylland. Nordjylland. Yeah, one of those Danish, one of those teams. But yeah,
that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, they came like third or something. It's going to be tough if it's them.
I mean, you don't want either. Would you rather though you go out against a team like Betis? I don't know. I mean, no, there's no chance. We have no chance against them.
I don't think Betis is traveling as well as what they were doing last season.
I'd rather take the Danes.
Yeah.
We do better against the Scandinavians.
But again, it goes back to what I was saying about, Midtjylland. It's an even better version of Pilsen, if you know what I mean. Is another smaller team, but it's just so well organized and drilled so well.
My mistake. They're coming fifth in Spain, so they're traveling not bad.
Anyway, that's what ifs. I don't think.
Let's change course with the basketball talk now. I'm gonna slightly apologize because I asked what will Hayes do. He'll be good offensively, but is he the defense spark that we need? I think that was a valid point, but he's come in, played one or two matches, and he's already shown his worth. He got the MVP in the Greek Cup final, and we held Olympiacos to 69 points or so, which is fairly impressive considering the defensive issues that we've had, especially against them, a couple of other teams. So let's just kick off now with the recent basketball win. Panathinaikos are the Greece Cup champions, so the knockout format where we played Bulk, we smashed them. We played Iraklis, we smashed them. So back to routine wins, something that should be happening week in, week out, not that embarrassment like Colossus Rhodos last week. Then we played Olympiacos in the final. Um, Full time, was it 78-69 from, I think it was 78-69.
That's 79-68.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Um, Fairly comfortable. That's a fairly comfortable score. We surged in the second quarter. I think it was like a 28-12 second quarter. That's where the damage was done. Now, Olympiacos did sustain a few injuries. I think Flopenkov got injured. Even the sitter, the Molutinov, I think he's injured himself as well. I'm not too sure if he's going to be out for a bit of time as well with his injury.
Who'd you say?
Molutinov, the center.
He did play though,
I
but he
think
didn't
he's
play in the second
injured.
half. Yeah,
I
I
think
think
I'm
he may
pretty
have
sure.
aggravated it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's got some bad injury that he's going to be out for a little bit of
Yeah,
time.
yeah, he could miss a couple of weeks. Yeah.
That, as Nick said at the podcast, we know Crete is green. Our fans are there in full force, um, chanting. There was also episodes of racism from the scummy Olympiacos fans, like
What
you
do
know.
you expect? What do you expect?
Provoking Lasort, and you got Sport 24, whatever that, just defending them, saying it was Lasort that started it. Like, come on, like the government propaganda's got to stop. Like,
But
we've
look,
seen the
Sport
video.
24 has always been quite
Yeah,
clever.
yeah.
The
Then
propaganda's got to stop. Look,
there's SDNA, and they go Rumours after we won. One extreme to the other.
we did, look. I didn't honest get to watch the game. I did watch the replay. I was just absolutely shit faced. So I do a thing, but we've got Arxonta here who can break it down for us. Arxonta.
Yeah, you can tell by I've been smiling ear to ear this whole podcast. It's been a good couple days. This was just from the first minute. I remember saying we look up for this, and I'll go back to Iraklis and PAO quickly because that should be happening every week now. All right, I don't want to see us winning by less than 20 points against these teams. We can really not get out of second gear and win by 20 points if we're being honest right now. So that has to be a constant. And that set us up well for the Olympiacos game. We played, Ataman said in his post-game thingy, we played well all week. In terms of the game, first quarter we were tied at the end of it, but I thought we had started quite strong. Second quarter, we blew it wide open. Huge shout out to Rogavopoulos as well. When he's hot, he's really hot. And I think he's, kind of, Austin's been struggling a bit lately. I think he's kind of saying, hey, I'm here as well. He also had a good game on the defensive end, which is more rare for him. So that was really good. In the first half, he was great. Mitoglu was great as well, which was obviously nice to see, the Greek kind of doing well there. It was a game when actually our guards weren't kind of the ones, Nunn didn't really do much. Slukas didn't really need to do much. It was the forwards, and that's been so rare this season, and it was so rare to see. I think Hayes Davis actually offers something different than I would have initially expected. I think we are kind of wanting him to play more in the post-up game, which is really good. It's something we don't have, and we now have. He has a great mid-range fadeaway. He can get to the rim very well. Good rebounder. He's a good defender as well. Gets a lot of steals. We saw that in the second half. That one time he ripped the ball from was it that Vlagas walk-up? I think it was him, most overrated player of all time. And then goes in for the reverse slam. And, providing that energy, he had 15 points, I believe, couple steals. Brilliant from him. Rashawn Holmes, he's been a bit inconsistent this season, but he's always fought for the badge. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but his parents, after we win, that little song they do, so heartwarming. And it's just, big shout out to him because he was hustling. I remember this one play in the first half where he missed 2 shots, but he got the offensive rebound. And he was like trying to get the ball and stuff, end up scoring. He was being fouled so much, so many times not called. But he also got the Ollie players into foul trouble. And then going into the third quarter, I was actually most impressed with that quarter, and I'll tell you why. Because normally I was waiting for Ollie to make a run, get it down to 7, and then we kind of collapsed. We held our own. We made sure they couldn't make a run. Did well with the tempo of the game. That was brilliant. And in the fourth quarter, we got it up to 19. It ended in 11. Realistically, if we really stepped on their throats in the fourth quarter, which at that point I did want to kind of go for embarrassment. It's obviously fine. I think we did embarrass them in general. We could have won that game by 25 points. We played the perfect game from start to finish. Great game management from Ataman, who I've been critical of all season, to be honest. A lot of players played well, and we said it after Madrid, this has to be the turning point, but I didn't actually hear the players say it, but I heard after this game, I heard in the locker room, Fareed, Nunn, and Hayes Davis all say, this is our turning point. And I can't stress enough, because the basketball, we have high expectations. Just look at that photo. You've got two final, the reigning regular season MVP and Final Four MVP. Our roster is loaded, to be honest. This, I'm going to say it right now, this has to be the turning point. You can't embarrass me like this. When I came on the podcast at the end of last season, called it out that we're going to be EuroLeague champs and Ollie's going to choke. You can't embarrass me like this, okay? We need to make the Final Four. We have to. There's 10 games left of the season. I'm going to be harsh here, but I'm going to be real. We need to win 8 of those at least. We need to be hot before the playoffs, because I'll tell you what, if we continue with how we've been, I guarantee you we're not making the playoffs. We're going to lose in the play-in. We could even lose in the OACA. So please, please, please use this as a turning point. We are a good team. It's so obvious. We played brilliant basketball. We showed we're better than these rats. Please, now, this has to be the turning point. I don't know what else to say, but it just has to be at this point now. I'm hoping Hayes Davis will offer us a different dynamic. Who knows? This just has
Sorry to interrupt you. If you guys are listening, hopefully it's done by tomorrow, you guys tonight, just type up in Google Bowl BC, Bowl Space BC. You'll see fireworks shooting up on as a Google result, and it will say Greece Cup champions. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I do see that. But that's one cup now. That's 2 to go.
And it starts next with Paris in the basketball, where this is a must win.
I believe that's tomorrow or the day after.
Friday morning, so Thursday night Greece time.
Yeah, you're right.
So we know Paris has given us historically, they've given us trouble, but they're not the team of last year. They're very low. We're sitting at 9th now, but a win here it keeps us in that mix, in that grinder where there's like all the other teams are. So important game there. Now I was gonna ask a question. Do we have the roster to win it? The EuroLeague?
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, 100%. We have the roster, 100%. The only position where I do get scared about is the 5. I still think we have the roster because we have the ability to play. Look, I'm telling you now, the X factors here. The X factor is Fareed for me. I really feel that if he can play a role, we can win it. I definitely think at the guards we're equipped, at the forwards we're definitely now equipped. If Richaun Holmes stays healthy, I do think he's a good 5. Lesor, I honestly I'm struggling to see what's going to happen with that. The reports keep changing. From what I'm hearing, he's supposed to be. I've heard from someone a lot of quotations kind of thing. In quote, he's supposed to be back now, but
there was I read. Well, there was an interesting post by the president of he put a story, Mr. Parthenopoulos, hinting that a return is soon about Lesor.
It really, he's still not started training 5-on-5. and
Do we?
stuff.
Yeah, but we don't know. We haven't seen what's in the background there. Obviously, I think there's a lot of because we've seen his frustration online, less so about when's he playing, whatever. So that could be on the harsh. But I have seen the
If he
president.
was if he was training like properly, like he would be in the photos.
Hmm.
That's me being like he would be in the photos, and he's always in the photos. He's got streetwear on. But if he comes back and he is himself, or even a slightly not as good version, but still a good version, that completes the five position for me. So yes, we have the roster for sure, but I'm not concerned about the roster. It's other things that more concern me.
Yeah. Now there's a couple of key talking points, some really good moments here. Now Slukas involved in two of these moments. The first one getting Grant and Nunn to come down and lift the trophy with him. I think that was a really good leadership moment. And obviously you see the players celebrating whatever in the club, whatever. You see that family sort of thing, what it means. But you also see Slukas going to Kyria Yanakopoulou and just like bowing his head to her, really honoring her and respecting her as well. That's leadership and that's a sign of a really good man.
Top guy.
Yeah, so I really wanted to shout that out as well regarding Slukas properly. Like you can even see him here. Like he's here while the trophy is being hoisted there. So um
Even when we won the EuroLeague, I remember he was insisting that DPG
none.
lifts it and not
Ah,
him. And even when he lifted it, he didn't lift it on his own. Ataman lifted it with him. It's not about Slukas. He makes that. It's about the team, and that's what I love about him. And you can tell by the way he plays what kind of person he is in a way.
there's also two more things I want to raise with the basketball. DPG saying there's room for two more trophies here. So he's obviously alluding to the league and the EuroLeague. He seems to be very happy at the moment. Um, And I think we laughed about this last week, me and Andoni, but we we saw the return, and I think it's a good omen. We saw the return of the Parthenon on the jerseys.
It could be obviously. I don't necessarily fully believe in the whole like, okay, oh, this is the reason we want, but it could be a mental thing as well for the players.
Well, we did play with it one game last season, and we won with it.
It was
We
this
won the
game. It
Euro,
was this game.
and we used it in the Greek Cup under orders
Yeah.
from Yiannakopoulos, and we won the EuroLeague 2 years ago with that jersey. I think there's an omen like now I'm not really superstitious. I don't believe in omens, but it we could be looking at something special here if we are going to resort to just using that jersey.
It's a beautiful jersey. I know some people are. My dad does not like them. He says they are hideous, but for me, it's a beaut. I've got the green one with the captain on the back. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it was this game reminded me actually though a lot of 2 years ago. The defense.
There's also one more thing I wanted to point out. It was on social media. What Hayes posted: jet lag, tired, not
Mm.
fit, and about that was about the final, and he still got the MVP. Now, if he's fit and doesn't have jet lag, I think we're going to see even more incredible plays from him.
I do think that I actually worried initially because um, with him, I kind of when it was announced he was leaving the NBA, I kind of had a feeling we were going to sign him, but it seems that him and Nunn are getting along well, which is good because initially Nunn, I think everyone's seen the tweet or something like Hayes Davis said he wanted to be the highest player in Europe if he came back, and Nunn was like something like said something like kind of like to fire back at that, but if you listen to Nunn's post game interview, he talks pretty much all about Hayes Davis saying, he's helping us. He's a great teammate. He's going to help us in so many ways, etc., etc. And the good thing about Hayes Davis as well is he's not a player that demands the ball so much. He is a good defender, but he's also a player who can work in the isolation, and can work in the corner. That's what I like about him in general.
Yeah.
And he's obviously got that experience as well.
Yeah, so that's the basketball side. I think we've covered a well bit. We do have Paris, and that's the look. It's good to come back to a EuroLeague game and not have come in
I will
slightly easier.
I will say this, with that game, they do like to push the pace, and we have struggled against that before. I'm going to say this though, I'm going to mean it. I don't want this to be some close game. This needs to be, and we need to start to now not just rack up wins, but rack up some statement wins. Give me I want to see a game where we just blow them away, and it's you can say after that was dominant.
Now, there's one more point in the basketball. One question I got for you, Arxonta. Now, we know the week after is Olympiacos in the EuroLeague on the road. Will the hoodoo be broken as well?
No, I don't think so. If I'm being honest, I don't think so. I
Even if
think
we wear
I
the
I
Parthenon
think
jerseys?
no, I don't think so. I think they're gonna want to kick back. It's hard to win in the EuroLeague, and I don't want to get my hopes up too much. I don't think I can ever predict us to win a game against them in the EuroLeague. I don't want to say it and it not happen. Obviously, if it happens, believe me, I'll be the first to celebrate it and stuff. It's gonna be tough. We struggle against them in the EuroLeague, and I said that game a month ago. I said either two things are gonna happen here. Either we're gonna fight back from that game, or we're gonna collapse, and we did collapse. And I'm actually worried about the timing of this game because if we lose that and we lose it ugly in a way or something, or get embarrassed, I just worry about us taking 3 steps back again. So I'm worried about that game, to be honest.
All right, let's wrap it up. Now, there was a point I forgot to make. It is about Dede. It's because we talked about the humbleness of Slukas, whatever. Also want to shout out for Dede, especially what he said post his European debut, where he got 2 goals. Dedicated it to his mum, obviously, and his family. So, just really humble, really level-headed guy. So hopefully, that trajectory that he's on continues there as well. He stays humble, works hard. It'll be only a year or two before a big European or a European team probably comes
And
knocking on the door.
he's been shouted out, by the way, may I add, by a few people. He's been not recently, but I think when he got his move, yeah, he was shouted out by Yanis Antetokounmpo. And yeah, that just goes to show, I think a very humble person, as you said, and obviously, seems like a great bloke overall, which is always good to see.
And Nick, you're gonna like this one. Um, Michalis Grigoriou has gotten 4 teams relegated before, or he's been part of teams that have been eventually relegated. So
If there's a club that's worse run than us, like in terms of the big boys, like they're not as big as us as a club, but they are worse than us. Artists, that is. How could they go for him? Fuck.
It's close.
Just desperate.
A lot of shit's gonna happen in this next week, though. I mean, next week on the podcast, there could be completely different conversations.
Yeah, it could be the best, or it could be the worst.
It could be. I'm telling you now. It could be the BC stuck in a rut again. We could have a bad performance against Paris.
That's on the same time. I think, is it Paris?
Yeah, I'm telling you now. Yeah, that's not an easy game for. I want to win big. Like, I will not be happy if that's close. I'm telling you that now. So there's that, and then obviously the football. If we're through to the next round and beat Addis, there's gonna be a lot of smiling. But if you know, don't even want
And
to
just on Calabria himself, so I'll give you this stat. Kotiras, Vayanidis in 2024, between them two, 1 goal, 5 assists. Kotiras, Vayanidis, 2025, 1 goal, 5 assists. Calabria on his own, 3 goals, 5 assists.
3 goals, yeah.
He's on 3 goals
Offie
and 5 assists.
Sturmgrass.
And he scored one early in the season as well from I can't remember which game. So that obviously we knew when we got him he's a quality player, and
For
I
a player
think
who kind of wants to leave, he is kind of putting in.
he'll go at the end of the season. He'll
He
go
will
back to
go,
Italy.
but
He'll fetch a moderate fee for us. I think there'd be some sort of handshake agreement.
did we get him on a free?
We got him on a free.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah.
How much would sing a few million though?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
he'd be on close to a couple of million.
Okay. Oh.
So that's the value of Calabria and having a really good player. Gentlemen, anything final words? Anything anyone say? Wrap it up. Add input. Something we missed. Something we haven't. Panathafan.
Not looking forward to Friday morning our time, Thursday night.
It's an early one for us, by the way.
Oh, it's. I just thought of that for you guys. It's because it's early kickoff.
4:45.
4:45 a.m.
Fuck, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, pronto theos. That good news comes. That good results come my way. I'm really praying.
That's all right. I'll probably go back to sleep after. Won't be will.
I'm not sleeping. Win, lose, or draw after that. Will there be an outcome? 6:45, no chance.
Could be later. Could be later. Could be later.
Could be 7:45.
Yeah.
Finish, yeah.
All right. I think we can wrap it up there. A lot of positive talk finally on both sides. There's hope. There's hope that we can beat Pleasant. There's hope that we can get that fourth spot. And as I always say, it's the hope that kills us. Always the hope that kills us. Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
Thank you.